Andrey Novakov is together with me here in the European Parliament in Strasbourg. Thank you so much for your presence.
My pleasure.
Mobility package and how will actually the cities look like in terms of mobility from now on. You are the rapporteur. Let's explain what are the new things that are happening.
Well, the transport now in Europe, it's nothing in common with the transport, let's say, 5 years ago. Even now, two neighboring cities in the very same day has different demands when it comes to transport. And the industry is so fast developing that the legislation could not catch up. So I'm not in favor of regulating everything and over-regulating, but sometimes, especially in the cities, in the urban and peri-urban areas, the union should have a common approach. For instance, micromobility, e-scooters. In every member state, there is different approach. Mm-hmm. So at some point, discussions were raised in different places, including Paris, of total ban of those kind of transport modes. I'm not in favor, but I do recognize that there is something to be solved, because there is no speed limit, there is no requirement of driving license, even if you've been held.
Safety measures also, yeah,
no
like helmet or yeah.
No lights. Mm-hmm. You can drive on the sidewalk. Even if the police catches you and you drink alcohol and drive this, they could not do anything because there is no driving license required for this. Mm-hmm. So I believe we need a common approach. Along with this, now we're discussing the European transport corridor network. And I would like to see not the corridors who are going through the cities, creating congestion, pollution, and so on and so forth, but intelligent approach, and the cities just to benefit from that corridor, not to pay the price of too many trucks inside the city.
Let's see how this will change our life. How should we react as a member state? You, Bulgaria, us, Romania, after you finish this framework?
Well,
what should we do in our countries?
I believe this time Brussels should do it.
Okay.
And then ask the member states to require it. Just like it should happen with Schengen. Mm-hmm. The work has to be done here in Brussels and not in Sofia and Bucharest. But here, I think we need a framework saying, for instance, we encourage, when it comes to bus lines, as for instance, purely European producers to be used for e-buses. No pollution, zero emission. E-scooters, same speed limit in every member state, requirement for a helmet, restrictions where could be driven, because we have a case in Bulgaria. One such of e-scooters was used on the highway with more than 100 kilometers per hour. So you are part of the the process of moving on the highway like everybody else, and in the same time you don't cover any of the requirements that are necessary for the rest of those who are on the road. So if you are on the road, you have to follow the rules. That's it.
So the new mobility package focuses on
clean and smart mobility, and it aims to create public transport, a collective transport in the big cities, sexy again. Mm-hmm. Because there is a reason that everybody is using, or a lot of people are using car, and it costs a lot. You're spending a lot of time in the traffic jams, and you still prefer your car. So the metros and the buses and the trams has to be more attractive, not just safe and clean, but more attractive. E-ticketing, for instance, it should be easy to buy a ticket, or even not to buy a ticket, but just to enter with your credit card. In some places we have such solutions like Sofia, but it should be something quite common and not to be an exception.
This also means investment. So are there the money in the pocket?
I wouldn't say enough, but we have to see the coin from the both sides. First, when it comes to public transport, yes. So the European Union, while asking a reduction of 55% of CO2 footprint by 2030, it should spare enough funds to support the member states to achieve that goal, because it costs a lot. But when it comes, for instance, about charging stations, well, I believe the business should follow, and if there is demand, the business should do it. Because I don't remember last time when in a market economy, the state was building petrol stations in the past. I don't think that happened. So the business created petrol stations because there was demand and profit. So when there is enough affordable, including, I'm happy that Romanian producers are more and more providing such solutions, cars, affordable electric cars, the business will follow and there will be charging stations, because now it's very imbalanced. We have 50% of all charging stations in only 2 member states, Netherlands and Germany. So it's easy to ask for many electric cars in Germany and Netherlands, but what about Czech Republic or Hungary? So you cannot drive your car only in those 2 countries.
What about the infrastructure? We know that in Romania and in Bulgaria we have some problems in terms of road infrastructures, and we don't have enough highways, we don't have enough or good railways. What should we do next?
I know why is that, because we share a common past.
Yeah.
You don't consider your neighbor as your friend, with somebody that you have to build bridges. Mm-hmm. For 100 years, we have only one bridge. Exactly. Between Romania and Bulgaria.
And not so good.
Even in that time, we were enemies. We were part of the same, how to call it, the same political union, if I have to use that term. And still, you don't consider your neighbor as your friend. Now, here, between France and Germany, countries who fought in 2 world wars with so many victims, you can have a tram, and the first stop you are in Strasbourg, on the next stop you are in Kiel in Germany.
Exactly.
A tram. And we are still fighting for...
In minutes, yeah.
In minutes. So we have to solve it on our... we have to do our homework. And I think what happened with us, with Schengen, it's something that should unite Bulgaria and Romania and find common solutions. There is no problem to find a bilateral agreement to ease our transport. You know, the cross-border time between Ruse and Giurgiu, it's 2 days. The business could not afford doing that. We could not let this continue to happen, and it's our responsibility, so we can do it, even without Brussels.
In the end of our talk show, let's give some exact messages to those who are watching us. What should the authorities do? What should the citizens prepare for?
First, I would like to address all those who are watching in Romania. So Bulgarians and Romanians are not second category of Europeans. We have to demand what is at offer to any other European citizen. We have to behave like everybody else in the European Union, and then everything is easy to solve. When it comes to the urban mobility, first, I think we have to fight a lot to get from the Recovery and Resilience Fund and operational programs enough funds and projects to every city, not just Alba Iulia, but probably in Bucharest, but even Cluj, smaller cities, to get more funding and cover the demands that the Brussels is asking when it comes to CO2 reduction. This will help both buying new buses, which will be more attractive and cheap for people to use it, and both protecting the environment and covering the Brussels requirements to get even more funds.
the citizens are watching you, Romanians, and also those who will watch you online from Bulgaria or all over the European Union. When this mobility package will be in place and see the differences?
I already work on the compromises. I believe in the beginning of next year. I could not say February for sure, but around February I expect votes in committee and then plenary, and it will be sent to the national parliaments on all member states, and I hope that they will follow and that European framework and will put an order to the transport schemes in Europe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.